My name is Emily, and I'm 38 years old. I've been married to my husband, Kevin, for 6 years, but we haven't had any children. For the past few years, Kevin has stopped listening seriously when I talk to him.
Aha. And so?
He seemed more interested in his smartphone than in talking to me. Feeling like I had no one to talk to at home, I distracted myself with online shopping, one of my hobbies. Since I love cosmetics, I started by proposing a few ideas, and now I sell my own line of products. Sales have been great, and I shared my excitement with Kevin, but he didn't take it seriously.
Oh, really? It's probably just something to pass the time as a housewife, right?
We went on like this for a while, but things in our marriage took a turn for the worse. Kevin started coming home late at night. He'd lock himself in the bathroom with his phone. He'd whisper to someone for hours. "Who are you talking to at this hour?" Worried, I asked him, but he blatantly lied.
There's a problem at work.
Then one day, I realized my period was late, and when I went to the doctor, I found out I was pregnant. I thought this was my chance to rekindle our relationship. So when Kevin got home that night, I told him right away. "I think I'm pregnant. We've finally gotten the child we've always wanted." I excitedly shared the news with him, but his response shocked me.
You've got to be kidding me.
"What?"
But you're already 38, right? Are you really planning to give birth at your age?
These days, more women are having children later in life. It's not like it used to be. There's plenty of support for older moms. I couldn't hide my surprise at his unexpected reaction, especially since he had always said he wanted kids too. He looked uncomfortable, showing no joy about my pregnancy. "Aren't you happy that we're finally having a baby?"
That's not the point. I'm not about to start raising a kid with an old lady.
"That's awful. How can you say something like that? You've always said you wanted kids."
Yeah, when you were younger. But this time, just forget it.
"No, I won't give up on this baby after everything." When he told me to give up on the baby, I lost it and yelled at him. That's when he finally showed his true colors.
You're such a pain. You don't realize it?
What am I supposed to realize?
You know I've been cheating on you, right? I don't love you anymore. So having a kid isn't happening.
What?
Did you really think telling me you were pregnant would make me come running back to you?
Then what about this baby?
Give it up. I'm telling you to have an abortion.
I thought having this baby would bring us back together. I realized how naive that was. After repeating over and over for me to give up, he handed me divorce papers, already signed, just waiting for my part.
If you're that set on having the kid, fine. But don't make me deal with any of it.
He packed up and left, holding the marriage certificate for his affair partner in his hand as he walked out the door. I was left staring blankly, not fully processing what had just happened, but I knew one thing for sure. I wasn't giving up on my baby. With the money I'd earned from my online business, I didn't have to worry about finances or security. "It's okay. Mommy will protect you." Sadness and anger flooded me, but more than anything, I felt a strong need to protect the child growing inside me. I didn't have time to waste being angry at him and his mistress. Later, Kevin dumped me, unaware that I was the CEO of a $120 million a year company, and remarried his mistress, who was 10 years younger than him. 6 years later, I ran into him by chance while picking up my child from elementary school. Having no idea how hard it had been for me, he casually struck up a conversation.
So you ended up having that kid? Bet they're a messed up brat. And you're stuck in poverty for life? Huh?
He hadn't changed at all. He was still arrogant, looking down on me.
Mommy,
That's when Chloe ran up and hugged me.
So, this is the kid from back then? Gotta say, I'm surprised you went through with it.
Don't talk like that in front of her. Just then, his own child and new wife walked over.
Daddy, let's go home.
My kid looks better and is obviously smarter than yours.
How can you say that? Are you even a parent?
Your kid was born when you were 38, but my wife gave birth at 28. The fact that you had a kid so late is probably affecting its development, right?
He kept mocking me for having a child later in life, and it reignited the anger I thought I had let go of. He whispered something to his wife, who glanced at me and laughed. I didn't know what he was telling her, but I knew it couldn't be anything good. I decided to stop wasting energy on someone like him, and I was about to leave when suddenly I was surrounded by the teachers.
Emily, we love your new cosmetics line.
I'm going to buy some for my friends too.
Thank you so much. I had no idea you were all customers.
Of course. My daughter loves it and keeps repurchasing it.
That makes me so happy. I'll be launching a new lipstick shade soon, so be sure to check it out. After my divorce, I kept working on my online cosmetics business in my spare time. What started as a hobby soon became a full-time venture. I loved makeup, so I started brainstorming and developing my own products. One day, I approached a cosmetics company in town, and they liked my ideas and track record. They helped bring my creations to market, and within 6 years, I became the CEO of my own business.
Wow, annual sales of $120 million. That's incredible.
I couldn't have done it without fans like you. I'm lucky I get to work in a field I love.
And your husband is an architect too.
If you ever need help with designing a house, feel free to ask him. After chatting with the teachers for about 15 minutes, I noticed Kevin staring at me in shock. As I walked past him, trying to avoid any more awkwardness, he called out,
Hey, wait a minute.
"Do you need something?"
What was that about $120 million in sales?
Apparently, he had eavesdropped on my conversation with the teachers and couldn't hide his curiosity. I'm the CEO of an online cosmetics company now.
What? You're the CEO? No way.
Yes, it's true. Since he didn't believe me, I pulled up a promotional video from my company and showed it to him. I even handed him one of our lipsticks. That's when his wife, Kate, suddenly reacted.
Wait. This is from Betrayals Cosmetics, isn't it? Is that you in the video? Are you really Chloe's mom and the CEO of Betrayals?
His wife, who had once been his mistress, was quicker to put the pieces together than he was. Being a small company, I often appeared in videos to explain and promote the products myself. Apparently, she'd been using our cosmetics, talking excitedly about how much she loved the colors.
Wait, how long have you been the CEO?
I was already making good money before we got divorced. It took about 4 or 5 years to get fully independent, so I've only recently become the CEO. He blinked in disbelief, trying to comprehend what he was hearing.
What do you mean, making good money before the divorce?
I told you many times. I was buying and selling products, and they were doing well. I got registered as a buyer and kept selling popular cosmetics. And then I decided I wanted to sell my own line. I told you over and over, but you never listened. All I got from you was, "Oh, that's nice," or "It's just something to keep you busy as a housewife, right?" He suddenly looked like he remembered something, falling silent.
Wait, hold on. Divorce? So, Chloe's mom and my husband.
You didn't know? This man is my ex-husband, I said, lowering my voice so Chloe wouldn't hear. Chloe is his daughter. Kate was clearly in shock and couldn't find the words to speak.
What's going on here?
Oh, well, this is,
You told me you were single back then, didn't you?
Listening to their conversation, I realized that 6 years ago, when we divorced, my ex-husband had lied to his affair partner, pretending to be single. After the divorce, he had remarried, keeping up the lie. It seemed like Kate had trusted him without thoroughly checking his background. Now, after I pulled him aside and revealed everything, Kate was furious.
and to think, you became the CEO. That's pretty impressive.
Kevin blurted out, clearly scrambling to change the subjects. He was sweating profusely, forcing a conversation he didn't even believe in. Meanwhile, our kids had gotten bored with our long conversation and started playing on the playground equipment in the distance. Now that we were alone, it was time to confront the real issues. So, you lied to your wife and remarried without telling her the truth.
You've been deceiving me this whole time. I can't believe it.
I couldn't tell you the truth because I wanted to be with you so badly back then.
That's just an excuse.
Kate's anger was impossible to contain now that she knew the truth. Seeing her rage reignite my own anger toward my ex-husband. 6 years ago, we divorced. Our marriage had grown stale. We struggled to have kids, and he wouldn't even listen to me. Then, when I found out I was pregnant with Chloe, I thought we could start over. But you told me to give up, to get rid of the baby, and then you disappeared after confessing to his affair. That's when I decided to raise Chloe on my own. After I shared the truth, Kate looked apologetic. Kevin, on the other hand, was pale and panicked, clearly not expecting his lies to be exposed like this. He must have thought he could keep the secret forever. But it was almost funny how his own actions led to his downfall.
I had no idea, Emily. I'm so sorry.
At the time, I was too angry to forgive, but you were lied to. He's the one who hid the truth, so you didn't know. You're not at fault.
Are you going to say something? After deceiving both of us and telling me to give up the baby, what kind of man are you?
Kate added, surprisingly on my side. It was an unexpected but gratifying turn of events.
Yeah, I didn't tell you the truth, and I'm sorry for that.
Men have it easy, don't they? No pain, no effort, yet they can still become fathers. I went through the pregnancy, the birth, and the pain, and I kept working to provide for Chloe. Sure, I made the final decision to have her, but telling me to give up or abort so easily? Do you even understand the burden that places on a woman?
I had no idea you were such a horrible person. If I'd known, I never would have married you.
Kevin was growing more agitated, his behavior becoming more erratic. Then suddenly he snapped, his tone shifting to anger.
I've been sitting here listening to you both go on and on. At the time, I thought that was the best option.
What? You thought abandoning your wife, who was finally pregnant after years of struggling, was the right choice? You left without even explaining yourself, just handing me divorce papers.
And lying about being single before marrying her?
Yeah, so what? We couldn't have kids, and we were practically living in a Cold War. If you cared so much, you should have kept trying to talk to me. I was feeling lonely too, you know?
Lonely? The man who was always glued to his phone, enjoying himself? It was infuriating to hear him lie so easily.
And besides, it's probably better that I didn't become a father back then. Right?
Sure, it's a relief that Chloe didn't grow up around him. But trying to make it sound noble was just another way for him to justify running away from responsibility. He truly was an irredeemable jerk, and I was only now realizing just how bad he was.
Did you really think you could get away with this forever? Even if today hadn't happened, the truth would have come out eventually. I would have seen the marriage records someday.
Yeah, I thought as long as I didn't get caught, it'd be fine. But the fact is, we did fall in love. Do I really need to spell out that I was married?
You think you can just brush this off? You hurt your ex-wife, abandoned your child, and lied to marry me. That's not something you can just get away with.
I realized there was no point in saying anything more to him. Seeing him again after 6 years and finding that he hadn't changed at all left me speechless. You know what? I'm done. Running into you today made me realize how glad I am that we divorced. I used to feel unsettled because you disappeared after your affair was exposed. But after seeing you today, still the same person, I know for sure I made the right decision divorcing such a jerk.
What's with that infuriating tone?
I'm saying it to make you mad.
You better watch yourself. You won't like what happens.
I'm not trying to show off. For the past 6 years, I've been working hard, raising my daughter and building my life. I started laying the foundation while we were still together, worked to achieve my dreams, and now I'm the CEO of my own company. So, someone like you, who hasn't changed at all, has no right to judge me.
You? How dare you? You had that kid on your own, and now you're blaming everything on me? Don't be ridiculous.
Kevin, enraged by my logical points, looked like he was about to hit me.
Are you out of your mind? What are you planning to do?
It's fine. If he hits me, I can sue him for damages. Honestly, you should get a divorce as soon as possible, I said, bracing myself for what I thought was coming. I squeezed my eyes shut, expecting the worst. There was a loud smack, but no pain followed. I opened my eyes to see my husband, Josh, standing there.
I think that's enough, don't you?
Who the hell are you? Stay out of this.
Josh calmly brushed aside Kevin's raised hand and replied in an even tone.
I can't stay out of it. This woman is my wife.
Oh, you remarried?
After our divorce, I became mistrustful of people for a while. 4 years later, when my business took off and I was ready to build a house, I was introduced to Josh, a licensed architect, through a mutual acquaintance. At first, we were just client and architect, but as we talked, I learned that he had also been through a divorce. He understood my situation, and before I knew it, we were dating. He loves my daughter, Chloe, as if she were his own.
Well, I guess even someone like you could get remarried.
Kevin sneered, still throwing insults my way, even with Josh standing in front of him. That's when Kate gasped in surprise.
Josh. Wait, are you the famous architect?
What's so special about him?
Have you never seen him on TV? He's known for his unique, captivating designs. People have been talking about him a lot lately.
Really? I don't know, and I don't care.
He's one of the top architects, reportedly making $200,000 a year.
$200,000?
When I first met Josh, he was studying hard to become a licensed architect, just as I was working toward becoming the CEO of my cosmetics company. We pushed each other to succeed. And after passing his exam, Josh's career took off. Some of the buildings in our neighborhood were designed by him, and his innovative designs even got him featured on TV.
It's really not that big of a deal. Besides, I'm nowhere near as amazing as my wife.
Josh said with a lighthearted laugh. But Kevin was stunned to learn that we were living such successful lives. With a glance at Kevin, Josh added,
By the way, Kevin, I've heard you treated my wife pretty poorly. She's told me most of the story.
Not this again.
You keep brushing it off, but do you even understand how much she struggled back then?
How would I know? She had the kid on her own.
Yes, she made the decision to raise Chloe on her own. She had other options, but she chose to keep her.
Right? You get it, don't you?
Yet you dismissed her feelings, telling her to give up the baby. That's not what a decent person does. Then you handed her divorce papers and disappeared. That's abandoning your responsibility, and as a fellow man, I find that shameful.
Well, you're all so damn annoying.
Kevin muttered, still not showing a shred of remorse. He wore a smug expression, as if none of this mattered to him anymore. I feel bad for Kate, but I can't help sympathizing with her for not being able to see through Kevin. I also feel sorry for the child who had to be born into this situation. I'm frustrated and tired of Kevin, who hasn't changed at all after all these years. I'll never forget what you did, and there's no way to undo it. There's nothing you can do now, but you should live with real remorse.
Why are you still so hung up on her? You're already divorced, so why keep interfering?
My husband, Josh, asked the question I'd been wondering about, and Kevin responded with something unbelievable.
I thought you'd be worse off after I left you. I figured you'd struggle with the kid you decided to have and end up in poverty. But instead, you're doing better than ever. The CEO? Married to an architect? You probably look at me now and think you've come out on top, right? You beating me and finding happiness is just wrong.
Kevin had imagined me struggling, lost, and miserable after he left. But when we ran into each other by chance, he saw that I was thriving and had become a CEO. It bothered him. He had expected to feel superior, thinking he'd be the one to live happily ever after. Finding out that Josh was also a wealthy architect only made it worse. Kate sighed deeply after hearing all this.
Just stop. There's no point in pretending anymore.
What are you talking about? I'm not pretending anything.
He started a business, but it failed.
Stop talking about that.
It's embarrassing, but we're in debt now, barely scraping by on his part-time job and my paycheck.
That sounds tough.
Kevin, who used to be so proud and condescending, had ended up failing in his business after remarrying. He had always been a prideful person, so I'm sure he believed he would succeed. I remember him talking about starting a business, even when we were married. But nothing he did ever lasted. It seems like our roles have completely reversed since we divorced. You remarried after abandoning me and our child, but your business failed. Meanwhile, I raised our child as a single mother, succeeded in business, and became a CEO. Karma really does come back around. You can't hurt others and expect to be the only one who ends up happy. This is the result of trying to build your happiness on someone else's misery.
Shut up. Next time, I'll succeed, and you'll see.
How many times have you said that? I'm sick of it. Talking to Emily today opened my eyes. I'm divorcing you.
Wait, I'm not getting a divorce.
Finally, even Kate had had enough and declared she wanted a divorce. If Kevin hadn't spoken to me today, none of this would have come out. But maybe revealing the past would give Kate and her child a chance at a better future. You need to seriously reflect on what you've done and change, or this will keep happening. Even if you get divorced again, this time, make sure you pay alimony and take responsibility as a man and a father.
Wait, you're serious about divorcing me?
I'm serious. You lied to me and our child, and I can't stay with someone who's always chasing pipe dreams and refusing to face reality.
But I'm earning some money, aren't I?
You only make $500 a month from your part-time job. I'm the one supporting us.
I'll get more hours. Just give me one more chance.
No. I'm done.
Realizing there was no way to save his marriage, Kevin slumped to the ground, mumbling to himself.
I should have just waited for you to become the CEO.
What? Even if I had waited, our relationship wouldn't have lasted that long.
How can you say something like that in front of me? From now on, you won't be seeing the kids anymore.
Oh, I messed up. I shouldn't have remarried. I should have gotten money out of you after you became the CEO, and then divorced you.
Kevin was shouting, clearly spiraling out of control. He seemed to forget we were at a school as people around us started staring. In the midst of all this, our children came back over to us.
Mommy, are you done talking? Can we go home now?
Yes, sweetie. Are you getting hungry?
Yeah, let's go. It's been a long day.
As we were getting ready to leave, Kevin suddenly grabbed our daughter's arm.
Chloe, do you know I'm your real dad? The man you think is your dad now is just pretending. Don't you want to live with your real dad?
He had completely lost it, gripping her arm tightly and refusing to let go.
What are you saying in front of the kids? Let go of her. I'll call the police.
Let go of my daughter right now. Josh and I tried to pull Chloe away from Kevin, when suddenly our daughter spoke up in a calm yet surprising voice.
Let go of me. You're hurting me.
Hearing this, Kevin was startled and immediately released her. I quickly pulled Chloe back to me. But instead of crying or being scared, she kept talking, completely unfazed.
Don't you know you're not supposed to do things that people don't like? I already have a daddy.
But I'm your real dad, Chloe.
I don't know you. My dad never does things that make me uncomfortable. And besides, he always gives me yummy steak and fish. Do you want to come over for dinner sometime?
Her words brought an awkward silence to the scene, but then the people watching started to chuckle. Kevin looked shocked, glancing over at his wife and their child, but they were both visibly disgusted and refused to go near him. When Kevin tried to approach them, his own child suddenly started crying loudly.
This man isn't my daddy. Is he Chloe's daddy? No.
Kate stared at Kevin, embarrassed by her surroundings.
Is daddy sick or something? Did you forget about me?
No, I didn't forget. I'm sorry, Daddy was acting crazy, okay? Everything's fine now. Don't cry.
It's okay if we don't eat steak like Chloe does. I just want things to go back to normal, even if we only eat bread.
Hearing this, the adults around us burst out laughing. Kevin's face turned bright red as he started apologizing, bowing his head repeatedly to everyone watching.
When you get home, make sure you fill out the divorce papers. And don't forget to prepare the alimony and child support.
Wait. Can't we talk about this?
Without another word, Kate quickly walked away. I'm sure she just wanted to escape the awkward situation as quickly as possible. Honestly, I'm disgusted. How could you pressure a child like that, knowing they don't want it? You're an adult, aren't you? You're supposed to be a father.
We'll be filing for damages too, for what you did to our daughter today and everything you put your ex-wife through. Expect to hear from our lawyer soon.
Josh was furious, understandably so. He had already been angry when I told him about the past, but Kevin's actions had pushed him over the edge. Not sure when or if we'll ever see you at the school again. Goodbye. After saying what we needed to, we left the scene. With the other parents and teachers staring at us, Kevin just sat there, stunned, crouching and unable to move. Later, through our lawyer, we successfully sued Kevin for damages. Though I had been worried about how Chloe would react to what happened, she didn't seem bothered at all and continued to live happily. I heard that Kevin and Kate divorced soon after, and that their child refused to see him again after witnessing his outburst. Kevin hasn't been seen at the school since that day. His behavior became the talk of the neighborhood, and people stopped associating with him. Now, 6 years later, at 46, Kevin lives alone, edging toward old age and loneliness.
How about a trip overseas sometime?
That sounds wonderful. Hawaii? Paris? I can't wait.
I want to go to Hawaii.
Despite everything, we've continued to enjoy our quiet, luxurious life together as a family. I feel so blessed to have a wonderful husband and an adorable daughter. And soon, we'll be welcoming a new member to our family this month.